You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. I'm raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What's up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boyz, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Mello, that's Sean, and we have a very, very special guest with us. She's actually Buckeye royalty, and her name is Cheryl Bosa. You might know her two sons, Nick Bosa, and they're phenomenal. They're the best, two of the best to ever play at Ohio State, period. Them along with Chase Young are the three best defensive ends that have ever come through here. And Joey Bosa also was killing it and crushing it, getting a lot of sacks. How are you doing, Cheryl?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm recuperating from the NFL season.
Oh, yeah?
Last Saturday was my last game. So, yeah, back in Florida recouping.
Where were you last Saturday?
Joey played the Chargers played Houston.
So how did he take that? And does he have any type of relationship with CJ by any chance?
I don't know. I mean, they definitely didn't go to school together. I mean,
Right.
CJ's a lot younger than Joey. So I don't even know how that was. But, you know, when you lose, it's not like you want to stand out there and have a chit chat, especially when you lose in a playoff game, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it must be interesting him playing for Jim Hairball.
You know, I hated him up until a few months ago, and now I love the guy. I know.
Oh, really?
Don't kill me, Buckeye Nation.
We won't. So is he a good guy?
He's a great guy.
Really?
It's hard to say it. I do. I say it to my Buckeye friends, and they go, "I don't know, Cheryl," and I'm like, "Oh, I know."
Yeah, we don't have a love-hate relationship with him. We just have a hate relationship.
I know.
So I just wanted to ask you about your experience at Ohio State when you attended and what it was like, and what's the difference from when you attended to when your sons attended, and how the city of Columbus
I came
has
here
changed.
with my brother, who was, you know, a big football player for the Buckeyes, Eric Kumaro. So I had actually gone to he's a year younger than me, and I went to University of Illinois my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a 5-star too. So he was being recruited by every school in the country. And he really wanted to go to Ohio State, but he and I were super close. So he was like, "Oh, I'll go to Illinois." And I'm like, "No, I'll go wherever you want to go. Tell me,"
Yeah.
you know? So when he said Ohio State, I was very psyched. I was really excited. So I transferred. I was there my sophomore year. So
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, unbelievable. You know, Ohio State is the best. Columbus has changed dramatically since I was there. You know, downtown Columbus, like you didn't go to downtown Columbus when I was there.
Why? Because it was too dangerous.
It was dangerous. There was nothing to do. You didn't have the short north, and I mean, now Columbus is like booming. It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
You know?
I know they just had a soccer player that just got shot. I don't know where he was in Columbus, but he got shot. He survived though. Thank God.
Thank God. Yeah.
I know an interesting fact I want to put out. How cool is it that your brother was Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year, and so were both of your sons?
Isn't that amazing? I know.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. It's really cool stuff. My Nick was always my Buckeye. I mean, since the day he was born, he came out bleeding scarlet and gray. He was, you know, he was my compadre. Joey was a little bit like anti-Buckeye for the longest time. Yeah. He didn't even want to go take a visit to Ohio State.
So what was his main school that he wanted to go to? That
he was going to Alabama. He was he was going to Alabama. And that was his first offer. He was 15 years old, and Saban offered him. And he didn't accept the offer, but like in his high school games, if he made a tackle, he would do like the roll tide and stuff. And I would be in the stands just going, oh my God, this is going to be terrible, you know?
Yeah.
And then Urban got the job, and Joey came home from school one day and said, Mom, I think I might want to visit Ohio State. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. Because I knew the second he visited, it would be a done deal. And it was.
Absolutely.
It was.
So like he knew who Urban was, obviously.
Yeah, of course, from Florida. Yeah.
Right. So that's probably what changed his mind. I was going to ask, how did he end up changing his mind? I'm glad. Seriously, I'm so happy that he changed his mind.
Me.
We all are.
Because without him coming, like, I don't know if we're in the position we're in right now. If you get what I'm saying, like, I feel like he was a catalyst to.
Well, I mean, look at Urban's recruiting year that year. That was Zeke, that was Darren Lee, that was Eli Apple. All four of them were in the top 20 in the first round. You know, I mean, It was a crazy year, crazy recruiting class, you know.
Right. But I mean, he's a cornerstone. You can't win games without defense and elite defensive line play.
Yeah.
What was his relationship? What was his relationship like with Larry Johnson? Like Joey's?
Oh my God, so close, so close, amazing. Larry's the best. Coach Jay he's the man. He really is. Yeah, he. I mean, Coach Jay was really close with both of my kids, but him and Joey had a really special bond. Special bond, and of course they keep in touch. Yeah.
So what was it like with the boys growing up together, being such a competitive family? Did they would they like go at it with each other a lot, or did they help each other in terms of getting better and new techniques?
Oh yeah, I mean, when they were younger, they were maniacs. You know, they used to drive me crazy. It wasn't really. I mean, obviously we were close. We were always together and whatnot, but like they didn't really. Their big bond didn't really start until Nick's freshman year of high school, and Joey was a senior. And that was the first time they ever played together. And it transitioned their relationship into from, you know, just brothers to like best friends. And they have been ever since. We won states that year. They played right next to each other on the line. You know, Nick was one of the very few freshmen that has ever played on the varsity for St. Thomas Aquinas. It just doesn't happen very often. So
that's an elite high school, and to this day, it still is.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
So, what position were they playing? Were they
Nick? Funny enough, because I mean, gosh, you know, he probably weighed 150 pounds back then, but he played nose, and Joey played end. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He must have gave centers fits with like his first step getting off the ball.
They were just so good. They were so fun to watch. And then being on the same team, oh my God, it was the best.
So I'm assuming like when they were born, you knew they were going to do this and they were going to be elite with the genetic background and the family. When did you actually visually see a change in both the boys at what age?
It's funny because it's different ages for both of them. Joey was a later bloomer. Joey was high school before, you know, me and their dad, John, my ex-husband, like sort of looked at each other and we were like, damn, okay, here we go. Which was weird for us because with Nick, he was 7 years old. You saw it when he was 7 and you knew, you just would watch him and we're like, what's happening here? This is insane, you know?
Yeah.
So it was different ages. So Nick was 7, Joey was more like 14, 15.
Man, that's crazy. So what is it like as a parent? I'm sorry, I'm going to let you ask a question, Sean, after this. I just got to ask this at me being a parent of an athlete. What is it like as a parent when your kid is that elite? What's going through your mind as you're watching the games or as you're just going through regular everyday life and people are coming up asking for autographs or wanting to take pictures, even in high school? Because, you know, little kids look up to the high school players as well.
You know, I think the way I can answer that is that I always had them in programs where they were elite programs.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, obviously people knew, people could see what they were seeing and they were like, wow, what, this kid is going to go somewhere. Something's going to happen here. But they were playing with really, with Florida is just like got so many elite players that, you look at Sunday football and it's like, oh, he's from South Florida. He's from South Florida. It's crazy,
Right.
So, I mean, my kids played with a lot of those kids. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they stood out, but not like as much as you would think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was football the only sport they played, or were they multiple sport athletes?
They both played basketball, and Joey played baseball too. Joey was a good baseball player, and a good basketball player. But St. Thomas is one of those schools that you you're doing it 365. So, you go in there. Joey tried to play basketball, but it's just so hard because literally the football team starts training as soon as season's over. It's kind of like college, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, they both once they went to high school, it was only football.
So I wanted to ask you a couple of recruiting questions. What was the process like? Because I know both of them are two different players. How did you help navigate that for them?
Well, it was totally up to them. You know what I mean? Like John and I did not push anything. I didn't even push Ohio State, you guys. And trust me, it killed me. It killed me, especially with Joey. It just killed me. But I just kept my mouth shut and, supported whatever he wanted to do. We went and visited, Florida and Florida State in Florida, obviously, because my kids are Florida kids. And then we did the Big Ten. We did Wisconsin, Ohio State, and then God forbid we went to the team up north. And I was really happy when we got there. Joey was like, nah, no, not interested.
Yeah. So what were the differences between all the different schools and programs on the visits?
I mean, they're amazing, really. They really are. It's like, everyone you went to, you're always impressed. The facilities are beautiful. The coaching staffs, are, top notch. And, so yeah, I mean, I was super impressed. Honestly, we're going back a lot of years now. So I'm sure things have changed a lot, but at the time I loved Florida State. I really did.
Yeah. Did they have the best facilities in your opinion?
They had a great facility and they had I can't even remember the guy's name. They had a really great position coach that really impressed me and John. But in our head, we were also like, will he be here? Whereas we knew Urban would be there. You know what I mean? And Vrabel was there, and we knew those guys were going to be there. So, and guess what? He wasn't there by the time even Joey got there. So, we were really happy with the decision. Yep. I mean, Wisconsin's great. I love Wisconsin. It's a great school. I love it. But, I don't think that was for Joey or my kids.
Yep.
Did you get a chance to go back much to any games at all? You guys get
with the NFL schedules, it's really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to a game. No, it wasn't last year. I think 2 years ago, I made it to a game. Okay. Yeah.
So do you guys stay in contact with any of the other players that were there or parents?
Oh, sure. Yeah, definitely. I'm really good friends with Jonathan Cooper's mom, Jessica.
Okay.
Yeah, and Dawn Elliott and I keep in touch, and Annie Apple and I keep in touch. Yeah, and Michelle Smith. I'm friends with Michelle Smith still. So, yeah.
So it really is a family, is the brotherhood and the family experience and culture is a real thing.
No, it's fantastic. We went to the same tailgate every week for 6 years. The same and all of the parents went there. It was a friend of mine. Now, those people I talk to on a regular basis, I mean, we're friends for life. You know how it is.
So I wanted to ask you a couple of things about the current team. Have you had any chances to follow at all this season?
I mean, I try and watch all, the games, unless, of course, I'm on a plane to California or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I
So
love
what's
my
your opinion
Buckeyes.
thus far of what you've seen throughout the season? Because in the beginning, we had that rough game out in Oregon, which I feel like the refs might have let it slip a little bit, and we didn't play our best game, to be quite frank. And then we had November 30th. We all know what happened there, which is kind of painful
Yeah.
memory to bring up.
Yeah.
So to lead to the national championship, what was your thoughts on this season thus far?
Well, they are definitely peaking at the right time, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive. I was not afraid for them to play Oregon at all. I knew that they'd, come back and show them. And I mean, that game against Oregon was tough, and it's the beginning of the year, and it was 1 point. So it was crazy. That game was nuts.
Right.
But the Michigan game, that one was like, damn, I don't know if they're going anywhere, is what I felt after watching that game. But, obviously it was fantastic to see them come back, and the way they're peaking now, I mean, they look unbelievable. It's really exciting.
Does Joey and Nick have any relationship with Jack Sawyer? Do you know? Because it was kind of thrown upon Jack that a lot of people in Ohio State, the crazy fandom, called him the third Bosa brother. They always compared him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the third Bosa brother. The fans.
Oh man, his trifecta the other day was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Holy smoke! That's what a defensive lineman dreams of.
Yeah.
The strip sack 6. I mean, what's better than that? It was amazing. I don't think they do. My kids are so busy, obviously, and during the season, they don't talk to anybody except for their teammates. So, and I know that there's, such an age difference too, but I don't know, maybe they're friends like on social. I'm not really sure.
My question, would your boys ever consider coaching? And if so, will they ever consider coming to the Ohio State University to coach?
My kids are not, that's not their personality. They're not coaching personalities. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really ever see them commentating or coaching or,
Yeah.
So.
Well, there goes to hoping, take over for LJ, keep that DN unit going, D line work,
Now, I got one tough question for you. It might not be fair to ask you, but which was a bigger thrill, watching Joey win the national championship, playing the national championship, or Nick playing in a Super Bowl?
Oh, I never do the, who do you like better questions, but let's face it, there's nothing like college football. There just isn't. The pros is crazy. It's fantastic, but that national, and that was the first year of it. I mean, that was the best thing ever. It literally was I'll take it a step further. I think the week before when we beat Alabama was the best thing ever.
That's what I was going to ask you, seeing how Joey wanted to go to Alabama.
Oh, I mean, beating Alabama in New Orleans was literally, oh my gosh, it was the best.
Watching Zeke take it to the house like that. Wow, that was an awesome game.
Yes, absolutely. So how's the weather in you're in Fort Lauderdale, right?
I am. It's beautiful. It was 82 today. So
all you people in Columbus, you need to get on a flight straight to Florida if you're
come to
trying
Florida.
to beat that winter. I just had a question. Have you ever seen Jeremiah Smith play in high school?
Me?
Yeah, or did you hear about him down there when he was in high school?
Where does he go?
He went to Chaminade Madonna. Now he's the starting wide receiver for us.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. How far is Chaminade in the area to you?
Oh, yeah, it's in Hollywood. It's not far at all.
Okay, yeah. So he was the number 1 player overall as a wide receiver coming out of high school last year.
Nice.
He's 6'3". He's up to 225. He's almost 6'4". He's up to 225 now. Yeah, he's a big kid.
That's a big boy for a receiver, yeah.
Yeah, and he has he wears 3XL gloves, so like he could catch everything with one hand.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, massive hands.
Hey, Cheryl, we got a fan here named Buck Vader, and he wanted me to ask you, what is your favorite Buckeye memory? And he also said that he knew your brother and he treated Vader really good. So
Yeah.
Vader is a big fan.
My brother Eric is a really nice guy. So that makes me feel good to hear that. Oh gosh, I mean, the memories, I went to school there, so I've got those.
Yeah.
But honestly, let's face it, when you live through your children, those are the best memories,
Right.
What's the best memory? There's just so many, like being at my friend Rocky's tailgates, before every game, like those were the best. And
Yeah.
just all, the people, and it was so close and so tight knit, and just, the boys doing the walk from the Blackwell Hotel, and, the skull session, and, you could just go on and on. It's just fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I guess the pinnacle would be the national championship.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
What was it like on draft night for both the kids?
Draft night was, I have to say, draft night was probably one of the best days of my life. Both of them, obviously. Yeah. Just Joey's draft was especially fun because it was in Chicago, which is where I'm from, and my whole family's there. So we just had so many people there, and it was just such a strong, fun group, Plus we were kind of in the dark. We didn't, with Nick, we were like, okay, we've been there before. We've done this. So we kind of know what to expect.
Right.
And yeah, Joey's draft night was just crazy. Just crazy.
Where was Nick's draft at? Was that in New York?
Coach Johnson. Coach Johnson smashed the table so hard that it literally felt like an earthquake. It was hilarious. It was so fun.
Oh, out of excitement?
Oh yeah.
That's
when
awesome.
When Joey got the call, he was like, bam.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to make it to the Giants.
Yeah.
Because that's my team.
Yeah.
So someone, my friend Madamus Prime Entertainment in the chat said, it lives rent-free when Joey Bosa ran through the running back and sacked the quarterback in the Penn State game.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah. That was crazy, insane.
Well, the saying that came from that. I can't repeat it, but the saying that came from that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I know that was a proud mom moment.
Oh God.
For sure.
So I'll tell you something funny about that. I wasn't at that game. I was actually here. I was at a Buckeye bar here watching it. And he called me after the game, and I said, oh my God, babe, that was unbelievable. I said, oh, how'd you do that? And he goes, I was just so tired, Mom. I wanted the game to be over.
Really?
I swear to God. Swear to God. I laughed. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
that's funny because when our players this year get tired, it's 50, 60-yard runs up the end zone.
That was it.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to go home. Cush. Yeah.
I saw a thing where you said that Nick calls you before every game, 2 minutes before every game. Is that true? Does he still do that?
Yeah, they both call me before.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just to say I love you, got to have my phone call.
Absolutely. Mama's voice. We never grow out of it, Never, ever.
Yeah, they're good
boys.
So
we have a natty tomorrow, and I want to know what you're thinking is going to happen. If you could give us a breakdown or rundown, because I think you know your X's and O's. You grew up in this. Your brother, your husband, your ex-husband, that is, and your two boys. Like, you guys were. I only met like two families, or known of two families that I feel like they were put on this earth to play football, and that's the Caleb Downs family, and that's the Bosa family. So what do you think is going to happen tomorrow?
I mean, I think the Buckeyes are going to win for sure. I mean, if they're playing at what we've seen the last couple of weeks, I don't think they're not beatable. I don't care who they're playing, I don't care if it was Georgia, I don't care. I mean, you can't beat them with the way they've been playing. So, and I think that's who they are. You know what I mean? I think what happened in the team up north game was just, I don't know what that was. That was just a fluke.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to win, and I think they'll probably win, you know, good.
All right. I'll get
Yeah.
your score prediction since it seems like you want to just throw it out there. So go ahead. Give us
Okay.
your score prediction.
27-13, maybe.
Okay. I
Yeah.
got 13 as well, but I had it 40-13.
Oh, there you go. I like that
It's
better.
going to be big.
Good. I like that
I
better.
got 42-7. That was mine.
Oh, damn. I like that one too.
Yeah.
I had someone else ask, what was your opinion watching Nick plant the flag on Baker Mayfield when he was getting
Oh my God, you
him like
guys.
that?
Oh my God, you guys. He didn't tell me he was doing that. Yeah, so I was, as he actually said to me, Mom, if I get a sack, watch, you know, I've got a surprise type of thing. I just was like, I could not have been like prouder. I just wanted to scream it from the rooftop. I mean, obviously, who did that? Who did that for us this year? Did somebody do that?
No.
They tried to plant the flag at the 50-yard line. Jack Sawyer ripped the flag down, the Michigan flag down, so they couldn't plant it.
Right, but they were trying to, weren't they?
Yeah, they were trying.
Michigan turned into a big fight.
That's so not cool. You know what I mean?
No.
So yeah, for Baker to have done that, it was like, you know, and then for Nick to just annihilate him and do the flag, always the best.
And we love that. I know I loved it. I was screaming in my house when he did that because I was so happy. Because the year before, Baker planted the flag.
Yeah, exactly.
I was kind of torn because I'm a diehard Browns fan, but I'm a Buckeye first. So I was happy for Nick that, you know, Baker disrespected him. So I was glad he got he got some get back for Buckeye Nation.
Yeah, definitely.
So I have a question. So what do you think would have happened if Nick never got hurt and him and Chase got to play together? Do you think that would have been the best duo of all time?
Yeah, absolutely. God, it was so great having Chase in San Francisco last year. I mean, what a treat that was. I mean, when Nick found out that Chase was getting traded to San Francisco, he was beside himself, just beside himself. Yeah, I mean, they would have been a dynamo. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine those bookends?
I was so sad we didn't get that, honestly.
Yeah, that was a rough year, you guys. That was really tough. That was really, really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad he recovered.
Yeah.
I hope Chase Young stays healthy. I feel like he's been battling a lot of injuries over his career.
Yeah, definitely.
So I hope
and look like his rookie year. He was rookie of the year. So
yeah.
I mean, we know the talent he is. You just got to stay healthy.
Right. And that's the hard part, right? Especially playing this violent of a sport for so long. Because you figure most of these players have been playing since they were like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And people, they always say your career when you started in the NFL, but really your career started when you were like in first grade.
Yeah.
Because all those hits still add up, you know?
Yep. Especially the ones to the head, to the noggin.
Yeah. Have they played through concussions before? Because I know it wasn't like as prominent thing until after the concussion movie was released with Will Smith in it.
Yeah. Well, Nick went out with a concussion in the Detroit game a couple of weeks ago. He had one of his last game? His last home game.
Yeah.
Went to the tent and came out of the tent and went right back in. And me and John are looking at each other like, oh my God, So, I mean, he passed protocol, so whatever. But I mean, you guys
clearly have a passion for the game.
Yeah, they're different breeds. They really are.
Do they get to hang out a little bit since they're both in California, or not really?
No, because Joey's in LA and Nick's in San Fran, so that's like far. It's really far. Yeah.
Yeah. How's he like San Fran?
Well, the team is in Santa Clara, which is the South Bay, which is more. It's not really San Francisco. It's more. I don't even know what the word is. Well, we're basically in Silicon Valley, but yeah, where Nick lives is very like hilly and mountainy. It's real pretty.
Yeah. So, what do you prefer, LA or the northern Cali?
The Chargers just moved their facility to LA. So Joey and his fiance just moved to Los Angeles this year. They lived in Orange. They used to be in Orange County, their facility.
Mm-hmm.
So I have never spent time in LA. So I'm loving, hanging out with Amanda, Joey's fiance, and like,
Yeah.
LA's cool. There is a lot to do. And so we've been having a lot of fun in LA. But then like when I go to see Nick, it's like he has hiking trails behind his house,
Right.
and you're like crunchy granola, and so it's like two opposite ends, and I love them both.
Yeah, that is pretty unique experience.
Yeah,
And
it's cool.
and I forgot to say, like, I hope we're sending our prayers out to all the families affected by the wildfires out in LA. Is Joey
No
good?
doubt.
Like everything with him and his property all safe and
Yeah, I mean, they they definitely were a little scared last week. It was a little too close for comfort. Their air quality was horrendous, so they were having trouble like, breathing and, but that's gotten better. And, fortunately, their house is fine. So
thank God.
Yeah.
Does the team have any protocol for something like that? Like
they're a little further south than what this was going on. Like most of the team lives in like Manhattan Beach and like south of LAX, because that's where the facility is.
Mm-hmm.
So they were fortunate that way. With that, I'm not sure where the other teams are, or if they've suffered, because of it.
What did he think of when they changed from San Diego to LA? Did he like playing in San Diego better, or did he like prefer LA?
He was a rookie. It was his second year when he was coming back. So, he was just getting his feet wet, to begin with.
Okay.
So he was new. He didn't really have much. He had rented an apartment. It wasn't like he knew the town yet.
Mm-hmm.
The stadium was horrendous. Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. Oh my God. Oh, it was terrible. So yeah, moving to, SoFi, like forgot about it. That stadium's crazy. But while SoFi was being built, the Chargers played at a soccer stadium it's like between LA and Orange County is where the soccer stadium was. And that was kind of cool because it only sat like 30,000 people. So it was like really intimate and small, but yeah, he's been through a lot of transitions with that team. That's for sure.
Well, my experience, I've been to San Diego a lot. So my daughter plays elite level soccer. She's 16.
Oh,
so
cool.
like nationals will be out in San Diego again this June for nationals. Last year it was in Seattle. And I've been to LA several times. I was just at the Rose Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
For me, I love San Diego. I love San Diego.
Yeah.
Until I went to San Diego the first time, Miami was my favorite city in America.
Right.
But I think San Diego has Miami.
San Diego, Orange County. I mean, the weather, the ocean, the hills, the cliff. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
It really is.
Yeah.
And then the crazy thing that I didn't know, because I'm black, if you haven't noticed, by the way. But I went out there and, I don't use suntan lotion. I'm like, black people don't need suntan lotion. I went out there and it was like, I'm wearing a hoodie because it's in June. It's like 70 degrees breezy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden my face is like, has all this stuff breaking off of it and it's hurting. I'm like, what's going on? And like my ex-wife is Italian 100% from Jersey. And she's like, you got sunburn. I'm like, what? Black people don't get sunburn? And like the sun is just different. I don't understand it.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
What advice would you give parents that are going through the recruiting phase for the first time? What advice would you give new parents, that are
I think support your kid. Don't push them. How do you say this? It's like, it's definitely a problem that every kid wishes they have, but it's really hard. It's really hard. It's very emotional. It's confusing. They're kids. They're just kids, and they're getting pulled in a million different directions, and they don't want to say no to somebody. They don't know how to say no, so it was an extremely difficult, emotional, thing to go through. So just a lot of support and enjoy the process, and John and I just kept telling Joey, like, you're going to know when you will know. And, it's just, it's the process. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good rule to live by.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going through the process. So I'm gonna ask you some personal questions from
Sure.
my end.
Sure.
How do you know if a coach is being honest with you or your kid? How can you tell? Because a lot of these coaches say a lot of different
Well,
things.
sure they do. Of course they do.
So how can you tell? Like,
I don't know. I think it's intuition. I really do. I think you just feel it,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say who it was, but it was at a big school. But there was a coach that I was so turned off by that I was just like, again, I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to sway Joey. I wanted him but I was like, I thought to myself, damn, if I was recruiting, the mom would be the one I'd be going for,
Right.
more
Yeah.
than anybody,
Yeah.
and I thought, really? Okay. So
Interesting.
yeah, I think you just feel it. It's a feeling. It really is. And you'll feel it when you really feel it. Like when Joey went to Ohio State, he was like, we went there. He asked me, can we go? And of course, I moved heaven and earth to get him there. And we took a visit, and it was the week before was it the week before? It was the week before the Michigan game. And he said, I want to go back next week for the Michigan game. And I thought, oh my God, try to find a hotel, try to find a flight, try to, everything cost a bazillion dollars.
Right.
You guys, I didn't care. I was like, yeah, of course we could go back. Because I knew, like, if you're going back a week later, you're going to commit. I just knew it,
Yeah.
So yeah, you just know. It's a feeling. It's a feeling.
So basically, I feel like women have better intuition than men.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take your advice, and I'm going to let her mom lead the recruitment process.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Do you think it was? I'm sorry, Cheryl. Do you think it was easier for you guys not to deal with the NIL, or would you think, with the NIL, there's so much changing now that people have to think about now than they used to?
Oh, God, that's such a hard question. I mean, in hindsight, like to look back and think, I mean, my kids would have sold a lot of jerseys. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah, they would have really done well. It changes things, though, doesn't it? It changes things. And this trade portal or whatever.
Transfer portal, yeah.
Transfer portal.
Yeah, it just takes away from the sport, doesn't it?
It does. It feels that way a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be limitations. I feel like they just went too crazy with it. You know what I mean? Like, I think there should have been restrictions on the transfer, on everything. But there's there's an argument for a lot of things. Like, I look at Joe Burrow, like if he wasn't able to transfer, like look at Joe Burrow was the number 1 pick in the draft. He won a national championship. He would have never played at Ohio State.
Right.
So I don't know. It's a catch-22. It's a tricky thing. I think they've gone overboard, though, is my answer.
So what was, without saying any names, maybe you could give like a little example, a hypothetical example. What was some of the craziest things that were offered or said to you guys or promised to you guys if you would have chose that school, a particular school?
We were never offered anything by a school.
Okay.
Never. No. Everybody was 100% up and up. 100%.
That's good.
I had a few, and again, I'm going to speak very, without names, but obviously, you know, I had Joey there for 3 years, and then Nick was coming in, and I had witnessed a few things that were concerning to me, not from the university, from, you know, people outside of that.
Yeah, like donors.
That I was concerned about. And I took a meeting with Urban and said, my son's coming here, and I really don't want him to be on a sanctioned team. But this is what I'm seeing. And he took me very seriously, and yeah. So I mean, back then it was like literally, I mean, you saw what happened with Tressel, you know what I mean? The tattoo or like whatever. Are you kidding me? So
which I think was ridiculous.
Yeah. So I wanted Nick to get a national championship too.
Yeah. So did I, and I thought they were going to.
I know.
I think if he was healthy, they would have.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How well do you know Coach Day?
Not too well. I mean, Nick left, right, when Nick got injured, and so he wasn't really with Coach Day. He had done, Coach Day had done, those 3 games when Urban was suspended. But he was with us. He was in the green room with us when Nick got drafted, and him and Coach Meyer and, some of the other guys all came to Nick's after party in Nashville. And, but other than that, not super well. No.
So what do you think of Coach Meyer as a coach and a person, seeing how you guys probably knew him a little bit more?
I love Coach Meyer. I love him. I loved him from the beginning. I could call him right now and we could chat for half an hour. And I always loved him. I know he was a tough coach, and, but, he took care of my boys, and I love him for that. And, and look, he brought us a national championship. Yes.
Yes. Yes. That Joey was a big part of that too, though.
Yeah. So, especially in the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah.
He did. He did the scoop and score in that game.
He has a lot of good moments, man.
Yeah.
And they destroyed Wisconsin that game. That was beautiful.
We had to. We wouldn't have gotten in if we had
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that brings me up to this question. Now that you're bringing that up, I feel like almost we can name our score tomorrow, especially if they play man. But do you feel that, seeing how Marcus Freeman is a Buckeye legend, do you think they will take their foot off the gas, or do you think they're going to try to just bury them completely?
I don't think they will. No, I don't think they will. I think they'll play hard the whole way through. Yeah.
Okay. I'm hoping you're right.
Yeah.
Because I want to see something epic,
I know.
Like, if you can make history, why not do it?
Well, I think Coach Day, after the Michigan loss, is like, he's got a cross to bear here. I mean, he really does. So,
do you think that will put a strain between Marcus Freeman and the university if they do annihilate them?
I mean, what kind of annihilation are you talking? I mean,
I'm talking about So what? Did UGA beat TCU 65 to what? 3?
I don't think Coach would do that. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking about.
If you're at 40-13 or 47, yes, that. But I think Coach would let his other players have a chance to play in the national championship for sure.
Man, I'm hoping that's what happens, and we see Julian Sayin get some burn, and maybe Devin Brown.
So nice. Yeah, you love to see the other kids get in, of course.
Absolutely, and I think you could use that recruiting wise because up until this season, we didn't really rotate that much. We just rolled our starters out, and people were negatively recruiting us, saying if you go there, you're not going to play until your third year, even if you're better than the guy in front of you.
Yeah.
Well, back then, style points counted for a lot, too. So you had to run the score up because only so many people got into playoffs. Now that there's a 12-team playoff, you don't see as much running up scores.
Yeah, definitely. I was actually sad about that aspect when Nick was there, that Nick's sophomore year, they didn't play him as much as I had hoped they were going to play him. Now I know they had all these great plans of him for his junior year, and they didn't have to, or whatever their logic was behind it. They had a senior ahead of him or whatever it was. But yeah, I remember feeling like, because Nick, that could have been the year that Nick, like sophomore year was Joey's biggest year too, biggest year. And I'm sad that Nick didn't have a college year like that. He didn't experience a college year like that.
Me too. I wish the seniority thing would just evaporate and go away and just play the best player, because honestly,
they did that with Joey. They did that. Joey, who was in front of him? It was his freshman year. Do you guys remember that game? Oh my God, they were playing Buffalo and it was 1,000 degrees. It was 1,000 degrees. They had troughs of water at the stadium. Do you guys remember?
And it was home game, and it was Khalil Mack, right?
Khalil Mack, isn't that funny? That's one of Joey's best friends. So yeah, they were playing Khalil, and it was 1,000 degrees out, and whoever was in front of Joey, I think sprained an ankle or something. We didn't even think Joey was going to play, and Joey went in, and he never came out for the next 3 years. It was so cool. It was so cool.
Hey, sometimes things happen in miraculous ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Nick would be starting as a freshman, honestly, when he was coming.
They really held him back. They held him back a lot.
Yeah, I wonder why though. Like, what do you get out of it? I can't really understand it now either.
Yeah,
I don't see what the point of it is, because you have to do 3 years.
I have to say it was a little frustrating. I do.
How did Nick handle that?
Hey, I don't.
Was
he frustrated? I don't remember kind of even talking to him about it, but it's something maybe I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure on Nick to try to live up, to his brother's, reputation.
I mean, I'm sure it was out there, but they're both so talented that, I never was like, oh, poor Nick, he's going to, be in the, Joey's shadow or something. I never really thought that would be the case. So,
and I mean, at the end of the day, their dad was a big time football player. Uncle was a big time football player. So I'm sure they didn't really feel any pressure in terms of like with each other.
They don't pressure. Yeah. They never had, they didn't have that competitive thing with each other. I mean, when they were little and they were, on the trampoline or whatever they were, or playing, in the pool or something, they would, kill each other. It would be like crazy,
Yeah.
But yeah, not when it came to football. Not when it came to football.
That's awesome.
So we want to thank you for joining us. Do you have any last words for Buckeye Nation before we head out of here?
Bucks, let's go. Let's get it. 2014 is too long ago. We need it. We need this one.
And can we hopefully we could bring you back on if you don't mind.
Sure.
In the future. Because I want my co-host and partner Devin to be able to meet you. He unfortunately couldn't meet you. He's actually heading to Atlanta. He's going to the game tomorrow.
One of my best friends that lives down here that I used to go to games with all the time is there. I'm so jealous.
Oh yeah. Oh, she's going to the game?
It's a guy. He's going
to the game?
Male friend of mine. Yes, him and his wife are going. He's a.
I wonder if they were at the pep rally. I probably walk right past him because the pep rally was free.
Probably were.
I got to meet Chris Carter today.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I know Chris well. Mm-hmm.
He's pretty awesome.
He played with my brother. He was there when Eric was there. And
nice. And he's from South Florida, right?
Yep. Yeah. He lives in Boca.
Does he still live down there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the chat is saying they love Mama Bosa. They love the interview with Cheryl, and they definitely would love to have you back on here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Buckeye Nation.
So,
Sean,
Sean, you got any last words or messages?
Just want to say thank you to Cheryl for coming on. It was a pleasure, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, my pleasure, Sean.
And for me, Bucks by 1 billion tomorrow.
Got it.
We got to thank Cheryl for coming on. She's legendary. She's royalty at the Ohio State University, from her brother, from herself, from her 2 sons that brought us great joy and kept us entertained.
My niece goes to school there now.
That's awesome.
We've created a whole thing there.
That's
yes.
awesome.
Now we need you to have another Bosa.
Oh my God.
That's
what Coach Meyer used to say to me. I'm like, dude.
Yes,
no.
we need you to go ahead and have start a basketball Bosa team.
No, we'll wait till Joey and Amanda have kids, okay?
Grandkids, right? Have the grandkids follow. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. But thank you for coming out.
Thanks.
And on that note, thank the chat for being here and watching with us. On that note,
take care, go Bucks. OH.
OH.
IO.